Oh, the problems with make wrong. Did you know that make wrong is a blaming, judging statement that we failed to be perfect, that we somehow lost connection to our integrity with ourselves, with others, with life, and the environments that we created? We may have missed the mark. Maybe we didn't get it right. Maybe we knew we got it wrong. Maybe we broke something from a relationship to our bottom line balance. Doesn't matter. We go into self-judgments and we create self-make wrong. So this little video is to help you recognize when you're in self-judgments, because it is so self-destructive. Oh, goodness. I had the hardest time with this in my lifetime, because I grew up believing that if I was critical of myself, if I was hard on myself, I would be a better person. So I used self-make wrong to be perfect. All it did was lower my energy, put me into self-doubt, self-hatred, all kinds of things. And those are never good for when you're trying to be peaceful, you want to be happy, and you want to express self-love so you can express your giftedness. I'm Annie Collette-Carr from Leap of Consciousness. This is another short video to help you get an overview and support you in going deeper in your research and in your healing when you need an update or an upgrade to your knowledge base. There are longer videos. In fact, there's a very specific series, number 4 in the Ascending with Annie series, 2 hours of information on make wrong. And I invite you to please listen to that video. And the video that follows it is the Q&A session. It's about 2 hours as well. People had great questions at the end, and it'll help you go really deep in understanding make wrong. Essentially, there is a model of perfectionism that we establish for ourselves. And inside this model, as highly sensitive beings, we often fear getting it wrong because of the punishment model. Now, these are two unique consciousness challenges. Perfectionism consciousness, meaning I aim to hit the mark and I aim to get it right. And when I miss, I'm not perfect. And then we judge ourselves for not being perfect. The punishment model comes into play when perfection is not achieved or integrity is lost. That model was by design for centuries to keep us in line, us meaning humanity. And then because it was taught to us on all levels, in all areas of our lives, we went into self-make wrong. Now it's time to say, I take inner personal responsibility for my self-make wrong. And that means we're going to learn to release our self-judgments. Self-judgments are those words that we share in our heart with ourselves about what we believe is true about who we are. If you want to know the truth of who we are at a quantum level one with everything in this universe. And because this universe was created by the divine, we are one with the divine. We all contain a divine spark. So when we forget that we are connected to all that is, and that is love, we often go into fear. And then when we mess up, we forget that we're still one with love. And we stop being love, which is our true nature, by the way. And love is peaceful. And we go into self-judgments. So as we release self-judgments, we actually restore ourselves through self-love practice of releasing those fears, conflict resolving our fear that we are not perfect, that we fear the punishment model. When we restore ourselves to peace, happiness organically manifests inside yourself. So the next time you experience a moment of feeling happy, ask yourself, what fear-based thoughts or judgments have I released recently that allow me to express my inner happiness, because happiness is really inside you. Real quickly, when my son was young, he was teaching me about happiness. When we blame others for not getting our needs met or our wants, we often believe that the other party is the source of our feelings. This is not true. We all want to own our good feelings, but we don't want to own our bad feelings. And part of taking interpersonal responsibility for what we created, both good and bad, is taking ownership of our lives. Then we're not powerless. Are you starting to see a connection here? When we point the finger of make wrong, and we usually point it at someone else, you did this to me, you are to blame. We're coming from powerless consciousness, believing that our presence of love does not matter. So when we stop doing that and we take ownership, we immediately restore power to ourselves, and we become empowered in the state of love. And we begin to recognize that I created something that I'm not enjoying because it's a low frequency experience. And we create environments. In case you weren't aware of that, we create an inner environment. It's either a self-love environment or it's a self-hatred from self-make wrong. And then the outer environment that we create is created from either judgments born from fear-based thoughts, and we go around looking for proof that our environment is exactly as we said it was, or because we have cleared our judgments, we then see the world through peaceful eyes, loving eyes. And why do we want to do this? Well, we're quantum. When we recognize that we are having a quantum experience in this world, we take interpersonal responsibility for our thoughts about ourselves first, and we become the proof that we choose to create. When we release those self-judgments, when we restore our true nature of love, then we emanate that true nature of love out into the world. And this is what creates spiritual sovereignty between ourselves and what we experience outside of ourselves, which we're not really outside of. Everything is inside of us in our experience because we're one with everything on this world. Those light particles that make up your body are one with all the light particles in the air, in the objects you sit on, and everything that you see in this world is made up of light particles, and they flow through everything, including you. So there is no separation. But we create separation when we go into judgment, and then we feel separate from love. So the restoration part of this is recognize when you hear yourself making yourself wrong. You need to say, oh, wow, I think I just put myself in make wrong. And then you stop and you say, what was my self-judgment? Okay, maybe it's like, God, I can't believe I didn't time that right. Okay, I let that go. And you can also check to see, are there any emotions that went along with that judgment? Maybe it's disappointment. So scan your body for where your disappointment is, identify where you're holding it, and then breathe it out. When we don't breathe out the associated emotions created from our self-judgments, they stay in our bodies. Our bodies have a propensity to store in a metaphorical area those emotions. And so they can go into what I call collection sites, like the liver when we have anger, or when we're inflexible, our knees don't work as well. Maybe our back doesn't feel so good when we feel unsupported by life. And the sadness or the disappointment gets stored in the back. Maybe the anxiety that you can't get up out of bed, or you can't sit at a desk, and your work is, your livelihood is impacted. Those feelings may get stored in those locations in our body. So when you let go of your emotions and you let go of your judgments, your energy goes up, because self-judgments have the lowest frequency, and the associated emotions do too. Breathe them out, release them, move through them. But you must look at what is the fear And you have to acknowledge the fear-based thought that created the judgment in the first place. And for that, you use the conflict resolution process. The videos are available in YouTube. There's information on our website, leapofconsciousness.com. Ashley Lee and myself have created complimentary gifts that you can help yourself to. And I invite you to watch longer, 1 or 2 hour videos that address make wrong and self make wrong. They're in the Ascending with Annie video series. Everything that you think about yourself impacts your world. So be the gift that you give yourself. Be the gift of self-love starting right now. Commit to making self-love part of your entire day. When you hear those self-judgments, just say, oh, wow, okay, I let that self-judgment go and I release it. As you increase your awareness, you will stop making self-judgments. I noticed that with heightened awareness and a commitment in place, most people, after 2 weeks of noticing all of their self-judgments, get out of self-make wrong. And then it pops up randomly here and there. And then you get to express gratitude for finding it, because it means you get to peel off and clear another layer and move through that to move it out to completion, so that you are infinitely free and clear of self-make wrong. And that's self-love. It just means we let go of self-hatred, self-judgments, and self-denigrating comments that we make about ourselves, thinking erroneously that somehow it was going to make us a better person. All it did was make us sick on all levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So now, be your own self-healer. Practice self-love. You've got this. I'll see you on the next video.